Today, we have a different episode of the Mike Squires and Friends podcast. It's a little bit of a concept episode where we kind of hone in on a specific topic. Today, I'm joined by my friend Phil.
What's up, guys?
You should watch the full Phil episode, to get a little bit more familiar with Phil. But today, we're answering the question, how should you carry yourself at an event? Thank you for tuning in to the Mike Squires and Friends podcast. You can support by subscribing on YouTube or downloading on your preferred podcast platform. And definitely go do that because it helps us grow and I can have more incredible guests on the podcast. The Mike Squires and Friends podcast is proudly sponsored by DistroKid. Looking to broaden your musical horizons as an artist? Discover DistroKid. With its smooth and rewarding music distribution platform, DistroKid offers unlimited uploads while ensuring artists retain 100% of their royalties and earnings. Join the community of over 1 million artists who trust DistroKid to distribute their music across major platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, TikTok, Tidal, and so many others. Having personally used DistroKid since 2018, I can attest to their superiority amongst distribution services. Collaborating with fellow artists has become effortless, especially with the ability to easily send splits of songs, streamlining the creative process. With the DistroKid app, accessing these benefits is now more convenient than ever. Safely sign up or log in with two-factor authentication, upload releases on the fly, monitor earnings, and withdraw funds from your DistroKid bank. Stay updated on royalties through push notifications, effortlessly share hyperfollow links, manage account details seamlessly, and track streaming stats from Spotify and Apple. Additionally, explore Mixia for professional-grade mastering, DistroVid for music video distribution, and Instant Share for secure file sharing with collaborators, producers, and more. The DistroKid app is available on both iOS and Android. Download it today from the App Store or Google Play Store to revolutionize your music career. Visit distrokid.com/VIP/Mike Squires to get 30% off your first year membership. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode of Mike Squires and Friends.
We just kind of talked about it briefly, coming into making content and whatnot. I hone on this a lot. And this is one of the things we talked about in our podcast was just, genuine and authentic energy, just being yourself, not really trying too hard to fit in. I like to put it whenever I'm doing film or I'm filming somewhere, I like to be a fly on the wall. I don't really want to be noticed too much. I'm there with confidence. I'm there knowing I'm doing my job, but I'm never trying to overstep boundaries. I'm never trying to just be something that I'm not or portray something that I'm not. So I go back to just being yourself, man. You got to just be confident in your craft and just be there knowing you're an asset, not a burden. You know what I mean? So that kind of just plays back. But I
agree that you should be yourself at all times, always be yourself. But some of these dudes don't know how to hang. And I think this is an important episode. Or if someone's trying to go to events for the first time and they don't understand and want to overstep, because sometimes I see people overstep and they might not even be aware that they're overstepping. And also just covering the importance of why is it important, how you carry yourself. Because ideally, you want to get hired again. You want people to work with you. And if your reputation gets out there that, it's Phil's a great shooter, but he can't hang. You know what I mean? It's you're cooked. You know what I mean?
I couldn't say that better because I go back to talking about the talk we just had in the green room. You can have fantastic product. You really could. You can have a great product, but if your character doesn't really match up with it, people aren't going to want to continue to work with you. It's I'd rather work with someone who maybe his product's not so great, but he's a good person. He's honest, he's genuine, he's trying, and that's what's going to get you hired in my book. I want to work with good people. It makes the job a lot easier. And someone that's working at their craft and that is a good person, that's genuine, is just, if they stay consistent, they're going to get better anyways. So when I look back onto anything that I've done, I feel my opportunities have came more from my character rather than my product itself, So I'm just big on that. That's where I'm at with it.
My dad always said people hire people because they like them.
Yo, 100%, dude. I would much rather work with someone that I like rather than someone I can't stand to be around. And that's why it's so important these days to build good energy and a good frequency to yourself and build confidence within. And it's not always there. And sometimes it's really tough, but you have to really work on your habits and what you're doing day to day to feel good about yourself and what you're doing. And when you're aligned, dude, and you feel good, people feel that. It rubs off on other people. You are who you hang around. You are your environment. So super positivity. Like I try to put others first. Just like even today we were walking out, we were fighting who's going to hold the door for this person. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the kind of energy you need to bring everywhere, and everything you do is selfless. It's a selfless thing. There's no ego. But that's the thing too, is that I've noticed, especially when there's like, you know, celebrities around or we're on the stage with someone who's notable, people let ego get ahead of that. We live in a time with like social media where people just are, everything's like an image, and they want to look like they're super cool. They want to look like, ooh, look at me, like look what I'm doing and this and that. And like people can misportray what we do because what we're around and what the things, you know, the experiences that we've had. But like ultimately, like super humble is like the way to go, dude. Like it's not me. I give all my glory to God personally. Like I don't go up on stage, and you're never gonna see me like, you know, I'll sneak a couple videos off my phone to keep for myself because it's cool. But like I've noticed that like people are more interested in like showing off what they're doing rather than like locking in and doing a good job, man, you know?
Yeah, and the thing is, it also depends on the type of event. You know, like when you're at some of these big concerts where you have superstars, don't rush them. Like give them their space. You know what I mean? Like they're people too. It's like, because I see, especially like with photo and video, you know, everyone obviously wants to get their shot, but it's like you can't come in like treating them like they're like a circus animal, you know, because I see that over the time. And like that's a way to like, one, not only piss off the artist, but piss off their entire team. And then also your chances of working with them, you know, just goes to zero because it's like, dude can't hang. You know what I mean? It's like, because I noticed like one of my homies, Dan Nilsson, I don't know if you know Dan.
Dan Nilsson?
So he's a photographer.
Face,
he's a photographer. He does like so many different gigs. He does like a lot of nightclubs, but dude can hang. You know what I mean? Like he's like super respected. I mean, he's done. The only time I've ever heard of Dan getting starstruck is when he crossed paths with Elon Musk. But I was like,
I mean, that's like, yeah, that's pretty crazy.
You know,
yeah.
But it's like, you know, I think Dan gets hired for these gigs because he can hang. You know, he's around like some of the most popular people in the world, and it's like, you know, people can trust him to know that they're not going to be like, you know, hey, can I get a selfie? Or like, hey, and there are moments where you can do those things, but it's like you got to be able to read the room.
No, 100%. And like, I pride myself on treating everyone like a human. I really don't care who's who, what they do, or what they have, or how much money they make, or the image they have. Like, I haven't found myself really starstruck either. I've being a photographer, I've been around a lot of celebrities in the past 2 years. By the grace of God, it's been really cool. The experiences are awesome. You get a natural high from, you know, doing things that you probably never even seen yourself doing. So like, there's that aspect to it, but like, it's something that you just feel good about yourself, and like, you just leave it alone. But even like Donovan Mitchell the other night, I was like, dude, like, I never ask for pictures with anybody. Like, you're one of my favorite basketball players, and like, it would be really cool if we could take a pic real quick. And he was like super cool, but like, I never want, like, think about all the celebrities, what they do on a daily. They got so many people that just run up to them and treat them like a circus animal. Like, can I get a picture? Can I get this? Like, why do you want to be that guy? You know, I think that they're more privy to seeing someone like maybe your boy that you just mentioned that's just like, oh, wow, like this dude's treating me like a human. Like, I don't want to feel, not every celebrity or superstar wants to have that attention. You know, it comes naturally with what they've done. But like, I wouldn't want that. Like, I would hate if I can't walk down the street with peace. You know, peace is like priceless, dude. So like, when they're in those environments and you can like really look them in the eyes and let them know that like, you're a human, dude. Like, it's cool. Like, like, you could be a fan on the low, but like, just don't go over the top about it, dude. It sticks out, and they notice it for sure. Like, they'll look you in the eyes and be like, wow, like, this dude's cool. You know what I'm saying?
I want to run through the entire process though, you know, from like, for somebody who's like so green to the industry and is like, maybe they're trying to prepare for their first event right now, you know? So like, one of the things I think they can do to prepare is, you know, doing their research. Like, if they know an artist or whoever's hosting or something, like, learn about who you're going to go shoot for, no matter who it is. It doesn't have to be even a famous person. It could be like, if you're shooting for like a basketball league, you should at least maybe know a little bit about the team and something about them. So I think, you know, knowing who you're shooting is an important thing. I think that's like something you should take the time to do, because I think that comes to a respect thing. And especially like once you get to the shoot, if your client finds that they're like, oh, you know, Phil did his research, like, you know what I mean? Where it's like, they're telling you about a travel game they did, and you're like, oh, the one in Ohio. And they're like, oh, you know about it. And it's like, yeah, I looked it up. You know what I mean? Like, things like that also just show that you care.
Yeah. No, it shows a level of professionalism for sure that you did your homework. And like, think about, you know Speedy?
I do know Speedy.
Dude, he does great research with everybody he works with before. So like, there's no stone unturned. And I think that sense of like due diligence will get you further when you're in these areas. You know, one thing you don't want to do is try to like hop into conversation, try to like force a conversation. Like, you know, I'm big, I speak when spoken to out of respect. You know, if I eavesdrop and I hear something, but like I know what we're talking about and I can add value to the conversation without trying to force it or look stupid, then like maybe I will speak up. But for the most part, dude, like I'm there just doing my job, you know, and if a convo happens to like just happen naturally, cool, great. But like I don't force it. I remember the first like big stage that I was on was the 50 Cent one last year. And like, that was like kind of when I first got started with the camera. So naturally I was just like, this is crazy. Like I remember being on stage with you. We reiterated this in the past podcast with like A Boogie, and I looked at you and I'm like, dude, this is nuts, bro. Like this is crazy. But even like last week, I felt like more at work, you know, rather than like, oh my God, you know, like as soon as like Fab stepped on or Busta Rhymes stepped on, it was like go time. Like like we're working now. It's not like there was no, oh my goodness. Like I was more comfortable with the experience. So like I think someone getting ready for their first one, just try your best to stay grounded. Don't lose yourself. Be respectful. Make sure that you're aware of your environment. Try to read the room. That's a skill that's totally overlooked.
That is maybe the most important skill.
Reading the room.
Always, dude.
If you're next to someone and they're giving energy, like get away from me, get away from them, dude. Don't try and force that. Your body will always pick up on things. You just got to learn how to pay attention internally, and what you're doing. So like, even with the opportunities that were granted to me, like I tell you all the time, like I don't want to overstep my boundaries. I don't want to make it feel like I did this for myself. Like, no, like I'm super grateful. Like I just want to optimize these opportunities and be an asset. It's like, all right, they're giving me an opportunity to do a good job. I want to do a great job. I want to turn around the content quick. I want to get it out as fast as possible to these people so they understand that like I made it a priority for them. And I don't go around like, look at me, haha. You know, sometimes we'll post things on Instagram and people might be like, oh, this guy, look at, he thinks he's this. But it's also like, there's a level of pride that comes with, you know, journey. You know, at times in my life, it was really tough. And like, I never pictured some of the things that I've experienced for myself. So like being in the moment, it's just like, wow, this is like pretty crazy and like feel good about it. But like, I'd rather pass that energy on to someone else, like pick someone else up with it rather than like showboat myself. I can't stand that. But like being a confident person, people can mistake confidence with arrogance. You know, that's why it's very important. Like, me and you could share some of like our experiences or successes that we're proud of to someone and they'll take it like we're bragging, but it's not bragging to the right people. You know, it's to the right people. It's like, hell yeah, dude. Like that's good stuff. You should be proud of that. Not like, all right, like people, but like that goes back to people, how they feel internally about themselves, dude. And it's tough.
I think to kind of flow off what you're saying too, I think communication's a huge thing, but even bigger than that is like making your intentions clear. And by that, I mean like, so let's say you have a client who's hiring you. I'll give you a perfect example, like a real life one that happened to me. So, you know, Chris Webby has hired me to come out on the tour with him and to do photo and video for him. So that's where I'm hired to do.
And shout out Chris Webby with the going after these CT guys doing the right thing for America.
The Dye-Quad,
The Dye-Quad, dude. Big, not a conspiracy theorist. I'm a conspiracy fact guy. So I feel you, dog. Keep going, man.
But so like what I mean with like intention, so it's like Webby will hire me for a gig, right? And I'll be doing photo and video for him on the road for tour. So making your intentions clear. So, you know, obviously sometimes the openers will reach out to me and be like, will you shoot my set? You know, like make sure that you like clear that with the main person that hires you too, you know? And most of the time, like I find that the people who hire you won't care if you take on additional work. As long as like you get their stuff done first, you know what I mean? So that I'm like prioritizing web so that like, you know, when one of his openers needs content from me, like it's an extra money I can make, but like, it's rather, you're better off communicating that in the beginning versus like him just like, oh, like I didn't know you were going to run around and do that. And like, even with networking at events too, like, you know, because there's a lot of opportunity, especially like at these concerts and stuff where it's like, you know, sometimes the clients might just want you to shoot, but it's like, you know, if you go to it's like, is it okay if I like network and talk around too? Because, you know, there's a lot of other people there too that you could meet and potentially, you know, make a connection with that could alter your life even. You know what I mean?
So 100%. And I got an experience recently that I could relate to that perfectly, is that I did some lacrosse work for CJ Media. Shout out CJ Media. Awesome company, really taking off in the lacrosse world especially. So they hired me to go to 2 days of their games. And one of their things that they're big on is that you're working for CJ Media, you know? And I wanted to be like super crystal clear with them that like, those 2 days, I wasn't Frames by Philly. You know, I'm pulling up to these events. I'm filled with CJ Media. You know what I mean? And when I, you know, expressed that to them, I could feel the appreciation with it. But it was like real. You know, I wasn't going to go to these events and be like, hey, yeah, I'm with CJ Media, but like, this is my person. Like, I just don't feel right about that. It's like, you're giving me an opportunity and I'm not. It's like kind of going backdoor on people. You know what I mean? And I feel like once I expressed that to them, they looked at me in a different light, like immediately. So that's an edge right there. Is just being real. Like, you know, there's not much more I can say about that. Just like be grateful, you know?
No, really. And
because that's what's going to get you more opportunity rather than backdooring shit, you know? Like,
yeah, I'm going to kind of run through the whole process too, where it's like, so we've talked a little bit about preparing. Now I want to talk about like when you get there, right? So I think when you get there, I think you spoke on this a little bit about being confident, but I think there are 2 pro tips that I could give. One, act like you belong there. Always act like you belong there. If you don't look like you belong there, you're giving energy that you don't belong there, someone's going to question you. And like, you know what I mean? It's going to make the energy weird. So always act confident, act like you belong there. 2, I think act and belong there. The other one I think is important is make sure you greet everybody.
100%.
I think that's a great thing to do. Like, don't wait for people to go to you, go to them. Just be like, hi, I'm Mike Squires. I'm the photographer for this evening.
100%.
You know what I mean? Like, it's going to make it better. And then also when there's opportunities throughout the night, they know to grab you, where it's like, oh, we're doing a group photo. Where's Mike?
Where's
you know
Mike?
what I mean? So it's like just making your presence known of what you are, like right off rip, is going to save you a lot in the long run for the rest of the night. So just, yeah, make your presence known, be confident once you get there.
No, 100%. Get there early. You know, get there early. You be very on time. I like to show up to things early. You definitely want to meet and greet. Hey, I'm Phil. I'm going to be doing content tonight. If there's anything I can do to help you, just let me know. I'm around. You know, small talk, like you said, will get you a long way.
I was going to say, like, exactly what you're saying is like what to say to the people. Because some people are like nervous and they don't even know what to say. Just small talk.
Yeah,
you know
no,
what I mean?
just
It's
again,
like,
be real. Be yourself. Go up to them. Hey, you know, this is my first time doing this, but like I'm really excited for the opportunity. My name is Phil. I'm going to be doing videos and pictures tonight. If you need a picture, if you need a clip or something, please come find me. I'd love to help you. Something so small and short like that could be super effective. And like, I mean, not that you have to do this, but like this is how I was thinking last year with the 50 Cent thing, was like, you know, kind of like mingled my way into it. I wasn't really supposed to be there initially, but I went in there and like made sure all the security seen me, and like I shook all their hands. I bought them some food. You know what I'm saying? Like I wanted them to know like, oh, this dude's cool. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not over here being a weasel. Like I'm grateful. I'm showing like, you know, I wanna give. I wanna be part of this. And on top of acting a good character and you do a good job, it's like a no doubter. You know?
Yeah.
And like coming back to these concerts this year, all the security, guess what? They remembered me.
yeah, because
You
you,
know what I'm
made
saying?
well, it's because you made your presence known, and you know what I mean. Like it's felt, you know what I
Without
mean.
trying too hard, dude. Because when you try too hard, they're just like we spoke about, you know, certain people that we've worked around in these past events, and like, you know, it's not that they're sticking out in the wrong way to us. It's a few people saying the same thing about the person. You know what I mean? So that's just something that you definitely want to be.
A huge tip of pro advice too, that just kind of playing off that, is like 2 things kind of that come to mind. Is one, always ask the people what they do. You know what I mean? Ask about them, because, you know, the dude that's standing in the corner who's real quiet, like, he's like, oh, I'm 50 Cent's manager. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, you know what I mean? There's some sort of world where it's like, you know, I work at this record label. You know what I mean? There's a way that you could like meet somebody cool and not even realize. But another thing too that is very important, this is something that has gotten me so much work, is let's say you're there to shoot for like one artist or one person, snap photos of everybody. Snap
definitely.
photos of everybody, because you don't know, like, I've gotten so many opportunities of like someone's team like reaching out to me, and like, I'm not gonna say here I'm like best friends with everybody who's ever reached out to me, but like, I know that if they're in the area now, I could like reach out to them. Like, there's one instance I'm thinking of specifically is, I don't even know what he does for Wiz Khalifa, but I was shooting Wiz Khalifa at Red Rocks.
Sick.
And it was sick.
That's sick. That's sick.
But I remember taking photos of like his whole team, and like some of them I like stay in touch with, and you know, when they've been in the area, you know what I mean? Like, we just, yeah, they reach out and we just connect, you know what I mean? It's not saying like it's all crazy, but you just never know is the point I'm getting to. And it's like all because I was like, hey, do you guys want a group photo? That's like literally all I asked them. And they were like, hell yeah, we do. We're at Red Rocks. You know what I mean?
Yo,
like, we
capture
don't have
the
a
moment,
photo.
bro.
We don't have a photo guy here.
And
like,
if
you're
it's
our
a good
guy.
photo on top of it, it's like, oh, dope.
That's what I'm saying too. So it just opens up opportunity shooting for everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure. And then it goes back onto what you said, like if you are there working for someone and you do happen to take great pictures or content of other people, you know, you just run it by them. Like, hey man, I let it rip tonight and I got these photos of so-and-so. Like, you wouldn't mind if I gave it to them, you know what I'm saying? And if the person that you are working for does have a problem with it, I'm sorry, like you might be SOL, shit out of luck, you know what I mean? So you definitely want to cater to the people that gave you the opportunity or brought you there into the room before you just like let it rip, you know what I mean? Because they might look at it in a different way, even though if you didn't mean it like that, everything's, you know, portrayal. You know, how you make things look might not be what it is, but that's how people take it. And yeah, like I've worked for a really great basketball company in the area, High Rise, shout out High Rise, actually gave me my first paid opportunity with a camera, and forever grateful for that. We were in Boston one weekend. I'm there filming their AAU team. Not supposed to be filming anybody else's AAU team. I'm filming their AAU team, and I'm exclusive to them. They were paying me to be there, and I was there because of them. There was a 4 and a 5-star player on CABC, I think their team is, and they were playing on the court before us, and like these are like nationally ranked guys. So like I asked, you know, my man, like my dog, it's like, yo, you don't care if I like get some clips of these guys, right? And like, nah, not at all, dude. Like, do your thing. But I would never just go and do it without asking permission, you know, because I don't feel
It's a
like
loyalty
that's right.
thing.
Yeah,
You
it's a
gotta
loyalty thing, and that runs deep. Loyalty is royalty, and like we live in an era where like people are so quick to just jump ship and look for the next best opportunity and not really understand that your opportunity here came from these people here, and now you're up here and you forget about that. It's like, that's not cool, dude. Like I'm big on that.
People
like,
sleep on the loyalty factor thing. Dude, there are people that like I am so loyal to that if someone was like, yo, they're dead to us now, like dead to me too then. You know what I mean? Because it's like,
straight up,
you got to
man,
be
it's
loyal
tough.
to your people. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, the switch up. I think that's another thing too, because you know what? Now that we talk about loyalty, I remember being on a gig, and I was only doing video at the time for this particular gig, but the photographer was going out and shooting for the other artist that was on the show, and the artist I was with was just getting pissed.
Yeah.
Just like, and I think it was a combo of two things. I think it was one, like, maybe the artist was like overreacting like a little bit, but the point being is like, you know, that artist was paying the photographer to be out there, and, you know, they still got their job done. So that's why I said a little bit on the overreact. But with that being said, like, it just goes to show, like, you know, and that photographer was not brought back. You know what I mean?
No,
It's
seriously.
like,
And one point that just came across my mind was that, like, let's say, for instance, like the LOX concert, super dope, great performance. Before that was Bow Wow. We were on stage. Everybody was on stage doing their thing. When LOX came around, it was very crystal clear that LOX doesn't want anybody else on stage other than their crew and entourage. And so you might be in a situation like that where security or whoever's running the event tells you, hey, listen, you can't be on stage or this and that. But you know deep in your heart that if you were on stage, you'd get better content, and you're just going to try and like weasel your way up there for your selfish gain. Don't do that. Like, don't do that. If they say don't be on stage, don't be on stage. It doesn't matter how good the content can come out. Doesn't matter how good of what you could produce will come out. Listen to security and follow rules, because like you said, someone tells you not to be on stage. Now this guy's on stage. Guess what? You ain't coming back next time. Nobody wants to be dealing with someone like that, especially if it's for personal gain. You know, if they want you on stage or you're allowed to be on stage, then and you're granted that access, great. If not, dude, be where you belong. You know what I mean?
and I think to kind of bounce off of that too is like, even if you're supposed to be on stage too, like, be respectful about the amount that you're on stage.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Don't make it about you, dude. You're not like, I try to hide. Like, you know, I try to be like a fly on the wall. And you got to understand, there's a lot of wires. There's a lot of stuff going on stage, dude. If you're not really cautious and locked in, like you might kick something over, unplug something, or like trip and fall. Like, dude, you can make a spectacle very easily, you know? So it's like less is more on there. Going into a shoot where you're not really sure, it's your first time, find your angles. Where do I want to shoot tonight? I want to get pictures from this corner. I want to get pictures from that corner. I need videos from behind. I need videos from up front. Have a plan. Go into it knowing exactly what you're going to do. When I go to these concerts now, I know I got like a little routine. I know where I want to be. I know that I'm going to execute here first. And then second song, I'm going to go over here. So like I come in with a little bit of a plan. You don't want to kind of just be free, you know, freestyling out there. Kind of like everything's strategic. You want to play chess. You know?
I know we're talking a lot about like concert stuff too, and I kind of want to make sure we cover everything. But the funniest thing, like when you're at a concert, is when you like go down to the pit to shoot up, and then the artist is like, "Everybody, put up your lights." You're just like, "Oh no!"
I had the rig, and they were like, "Put your fist up," and I was just like, you know, trying to get it done. But yeah, no, I don't want to just say on concert terms. You know, the reason why I bring that up is just because that's recently we've been doing a lot of that, and.
I think something to pull just from that though is just don't camp out in a spot too long. No matter where, like whatever.
All your stuff's gonna look the same.
Yeah,
you know?
and then your client's gonna be pissed because they're gonna be like, "Yo, you got the same shot 100 times."
Yeah, no, that's not it. I think same shot, different angle is the best way to be with anything. You know, especially putting videos together. It definitely gives presence of just moving around. Yeah, and like, dude, you're gonna be working. You know?
Yeah, and especially with like events with a lot of people, like try to bounce between groups like naturally. I think that's like a good advice. Like where it's like, you know, if you got enough photos of this group over here, like or video, like make sure you get coverage of everybody and make your way around the room. You know?
Yeah, and be aware of your surroundings. Like there's gonna probably be other photographers or videographers there, and like, dude, don't be standing in front of people. Don't be cutting in front of people if you don't have to. Make sure you're ducking under cameras and like be respectful to everybody. You know, everybody's up there trying to do a good job. So like, if you're not paying attention or like cautious, like you could just be like stepping on someone else's toes without even knowing it. You know?
Yeah, and be able to read a situation. You kind of were saying that before, like read a room. But it's like, you know, if you see like a group of people that are, you know, their circle's closed off and they're in conversation, like. Hang back for a second. They don't need the photo right now. No. You know what I mean? No. You know, so it's like, just be able to read situations. Cause I think like all of those, like if everything you said that we talked about, you put that together, it's going to set you up for success.
Oh no, for sure. And I'm big on creating opportunity for sure. Like going out of your way to make things happen. But like also the best opportunities are presented themselves, you know, like if you have an opportunity to small talk with someone and like it just feels right and you don't feel like a nuisance, you don't feel awkward. Approaching people with confidence too. You don't want to go up just like kind of just like nervous or scared, don't know what you're going to say. Less is more in that sense, especially when you're talking about stars or someone with, you know, some kind of following or whatever you want to call it. Just, you know, just be confident that I don't know. It's rare, dude. I'm going to be honest. Like there's not a lot of real people out here anymore. We're living in a time where it's rare. You know, so it sticks out. So I'm big on just being like you and authentic. Like it's one of my favorite things about you is just like you're Mike Squires on the camera, off the camera, clean in Macy's, not clean in Macy's. Like Mike Squires is Mike Squires all the time. And like people don't know that. People just that don't know him might just see all his content and not really understand who Mike Squires really is. But like that's the guy you see. Like we're just chilling right now, dude.
It's crazy though too, like just to bounce off of that though, because like me right now, like wouldn't necessarily be good for some of the stuff I've done in the past though, where it's like.
Why do you say that?
So, okay, I'll give you a perfect example. So like when I was doing photo and video, like mainly as like my main thing, you know, you couldn't catch me outside of wearing black. You know what I mean? Like I was always like wearing black. Like I was
I feel like I remember that. Yeah.
Very like I was like stagehand. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's like how and that like you kind of dress for success. You know what I mean? And it's like, you know, I remember like when I started like wearing like more brighter, like louder clothes. I remember, you know, thankfully not all the artists, but some of the artists were like, yo, like, you know, do you have to wear that bright ass windbreaker? You know what I mean? And I'm like, it's kind of my thing now. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, and I wasn't going to change because I was like, you know, if you want me here, you got to hire me for all of me at that point. But with that being said, if I was just starting, I don't think I would have had the same success, you know, because at that point, by the time I started branching off and like, you know, making my own plays where it's like doing things I wanted to do for me, I was like already established so that, you know, people were confident in my work ability and everything like that. But if I had the same energy like day one, you know what I mean? I don't know if I would have had the same success because they were like, yo, who the fuck does this dude in this colorful windbreaker, or at least now, this red, white, and blue suit think he is, like just being able to come on. Like if I was camera Mike Squires at the Locks this weekend and I was wearing this, you know what I mean? You think it would have went, went under the radar?
I feel you, dude.
You know what I mean?
I totally feel you. And
so dress for success is the point I'm trying to get to on that.
I'm big on comfort. You know, last week we did, we go back onto the Bow Wow concert, you know, Nike sweats, black t-shirt, black hat. And, you know, I was sweating like a pig, man. I was hot. It was really hot. And then like, you know, kind of the LOX one I had like you said, feeling a little bit more established. I put on a nice little outfit, you know, but like, I could totally understand what you're saying. Like even like I go to the city a lot and film street ball, this and that. Like I wouldn't want to be out there with sandals, you know what I'm saying? But like now that I'm established, like I have no problem like pulling up, like, you know, because like I'm confident, like you know, you build a little bit of credibility. People know who you are. I'm not ashamed of anything.
I want to talk about some common mistakes, Phil, because there's a lot of common mistakes I think people make. I think one thing people do is either A, dominate a conversation when you should be listening.
Trying too hard.
Yeah, listening, or you know, really trying to boast yourself. You know what I mean? Like trying to pitch yourself so much. Like, you know what I mean? Like you basically just be yourself and just let the people decide. If it's meant to be, it'll happen. If it's not, it won't. You know what I mean?
I'm huge on that. Being in my field of work with the photography and videography, dude, I don't market myself. I really don't. It's by the grace of God, the opportunity that comes in like word of mouth through social media, I guess. You never see me put up flyers like these are my prices, hire me if you're looking for this, if you're looking for that. I kind of just am having fun with it. I post my content. I let it rip as much as possible.
Well, that's the beautiful thing about being a content guy, because that's something I learned early on, is that every piece of content that you post is an advertisement for you.
Exactly. Your product speaks for itself, dude. You know, you don't have to go try to sell yourself with words to someone. I think me personally, if someone comes up to me and they're like, yo, I'm really nice. Like I could do a great job, dude. Like, trust me, like my shit is dope.
You're just like,
Yeah,
you know, it's just like, cause it's a
I'd
vibe
rather
thing.
you pull up and be like, yeah, man, you know, check me out, see what you think. And, if it works, let me know. Then someone like that, and then you go check out their product and then it's fire. You're like, oh nah, this dude, he's legit, you know, and he's humble. He's not over here trying to make it seem like he's something that, you know.
I think also another thing too, like oversharing personal details, like about yourself, like right off rip.
Yeah,
like
I was bad at that. I used to be an open book, dude. I used to just like not want to tell my story, but I used to want to let people know who I am when I first meet them. You know, I like to just be a little bit more closed off now, definitely. And
it's
like,
a balance, though.
That is a balance, because like it's tough, man. Like, you know, you try to share your experiences and try to relate to people through your life experiences. Sometimes you just say a little bit too much. Me personally, I remember meeting people for the first time or in relationships. It could be in anything, and just talking too much, bro, you know? And not that I was saying anything bad, but like these people don't deserve, not that they don't deserve it, they don't need to know all this right now, you know? Let people get to know you with time.
And people will find out too organically, you know what I mean? Where it's like, you know, sometimes I'll tell people like about my 50 States project if I'm wearing the suit, so that like, you know, they
something
could
to be proud of.
Well, you know, but so they could put it together in their head real quick. But like, you know what I mean? Like I let people figure out the rest of the stuff too. Cause it's like, one, if they care, they're going to figure it out on their own. You know what I mean? And two, it's like, I just think oversharing, like you could just overwhelm them. And then it turns out it's like, well, that was kind of a lot, wasn't it? It's like, yo, like, you know, we're just trying to hang right now. And like, you know, Mike's telling us about like his whole like journey of like everything. It's like, geez, you know what I mean? It's like, and you don't want to be the person where it's like, dang, it kind of talks too much.
Yeah,
you know
dude,
what I mean?
Nobody wants to be around that. I can't stand it. It's a nuisance. And that's why I go back to saying that's something I've been working on, is just becoming more quiet. I think there's a lot of power in silence. Like you said, if someone's interested in like who you are, they'll do their own research. We all do it. And I lost the train of thought.
Well, the next point I was going to pull it to, though, is like, we talked about this a little bit, but just like, don't hover over VIPs. You know what I mean? Like, you know, we were at Busta the other day. Like, obviously, Busta Rhymes is right next to us, but it's like, yo, give them space. And it's not even Busta. It like could be the bride and groom. It could be anybody that's important. Like, give people their space so that they could breathe. You know what I mean? Because like some advice, just get a longer lens. You know what I mean? Because people like, for the most part, and obviously every moment calls for different things, but like people don't, when they're trying to live in the event, they don't want a camera in their face.
Nah,
you know what I mean?
Dude, nah, especially if they're about to get on stage and deal with all that, they don't want to be dealing with it before. But like even when Fab showed up, he was walking in and like I kept my distance, man, you know, but like PJ, shout out PJ, he was like, yo, get in there. And PJ's the one that gave me the opportunity. So like once I got that green light from PJ, I was like, boom, I'm in there. And I approached it with confidence. I ended up getting some really fire shots in that moment, videos and pictures. But like we talked about the one star that was, not gonna say no names, but like I had the interaction with him and I just I didn't like him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I didn't like the way it like, I just felt like he was just like, these guys are gonna be full of themselves. Not all these stars that you see are like super genuine good people. You know, some people just happen to be lucky. And I'm not saying that person's not.
No, I know. But
like,
in
it's
the
a
instance
real
that
thing,
you had
know?
with him too, and like it, you know, can catch people on different days and whatnot. But this is actually a good segue into like the next part I want to bring it to is like awkward situations, because awkward situations do happen.
Yeah,
You know what I
I'm
mean?
sitting there and it's like, I'm sitting here asking for, you know, a shout out for Hey Stanford and Mill River, not myself, you know, and it's like, I thought it would be a lot easier and I felt like I was pulling teeth in the moment and I was just like, damn, like, I'm not a fan of this. And then like, that's that. But like, I'm grateful that the moment happened. I actually got a nice little piece of it and was able to do something with it. But yeah, it just goes back into, you know, being cool, calm, and collective, I guess.
But yeah, sometimes conversations like when you're networking just get awkward. So I think always having like an exit strategy is a plan and knowing when to exit. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like if the conversation's dragging on and it like isn't
it
just
up.
having to, you just gotta go. You have like
Thanks,
just
man.
be like,
Appreciate it.
just be like, oh, I gotta go get some shots of this before the sun goes down. You know what I mean? I gotta go. Literally anything. Just, you know what I mean?
Get
Just
up out of there, dude.
Yeah, get out of there. Cause like like you knowing when to leave will hold you down longer. Cause it's like, oh, left at the right moment. He's a cool dude. He's like, yo, that dude was just hanging around all night.
Linger,
you know?
man.
That's what I'm saying.
Linger.
You don't want to be the one to linger. So
Nah, dude.
no, I think I'm trying to think of like other awkward. Another one actually that comes to mind is, you know, maybe taking a picture of something that you shouldn't have. I've done that before. And, you know, I just like, so for example, I remember, I was at a venue and one of the venue staff like walked in and they were in the background of the photo and they were like really upset that they were in the photo. In that instance, I was like, yo, I'm just going to delete the photo. And I showed him delete it right in front of him. But like, you know, there are moments like not everybody wants to be on camera too.
It's that if that ain't the truth, dude, it is, dude. A lot of people probably feel that way. You know, it's not easy to be in front of a camera sometimes. Even like I just did some work and I've never done a party of videography and photography. Like not like a club party, you know, like a club scene. And like, you know, I was kind of just like a little nervous about going up to strangers, sticking a camera in their face while they're out having fun, you know, like.
I still don't like doing it.
I don't like doing it, dude. I don't like doing it. You know, I love my sports videography. I love the events that we've been doing, stuff like that. But like approaching strangers with a camera, like not everybody feels comfortable in front of a camera. Some people hate taking pictures, dude.
Yeah,
like,
and
not
don't let that
everybody wants to
discourage
take
you too, because like, you know, sometimes a batch of people being like, no, I don't want my photo taken. You'll be like, all right, like, am I gonna get any photos tonight?
Yeah, no, you gotta go and let it rip. Like if you're at the opportunity that you need to go get these photos done, then you know it's probably better you look them in the eyes. Hey, I'm a photographer. Do you mind if I grab a picture real quick? And then I feel like the more you do anything, you just get a little bit more comfortable with it. But like I said, since I've never done that, I was just like a little like, dang, I don't know.
And I
in
think
my head about it, you know, which is all right. But like, again, next time I go back, it's going to be a little bit different.
And I think to kind of end this like little segment, and then I want to move it to the next part of like this, is that just being able to like laugh off small mistakes. You know what I mean? Things happen. You know what I mean? It's like it's part of the game. Like, I don't know what this like small mistake looks like. Maybe you missed a shot of, I don't know, someone getting frosting on their face at a birthday party. You know what I mean? It's like, it happens. You know what I mean? But it's like, you know, being able to like, you know, be like, I don't know how you played off. And I'll be like, yo, could you do it again? You know, I don't know. Like,
dude, I get that all the time in sports videography, bro. Even yesterday I was filming the scale tournament. Shout out Puda, bro. Fantastic event every year. Dude holds it down for Connecticut, doing big things. Check them out at Scale 203, I believe the Instagram page is. But yeah, dude. if you're not kind of like on it and paying attention for every play, you could I missed a serious nice play yesterday. Like even after the play, dudes were like, yo, let me see that. And I looked and I'm like, didn't get it, you know? And it's just like,
tough. It's a tough situation.
I've made that mistake so many times. Like when I was shooting A7 III as a hybrid, I'd go between photos and video on the same camera. And so I would try to get live action shots as well as video. So like if I'm doing video, great. But like if I'm taking pictures and a sick play happens, then I didn't get that clip. So like you kind of sacrifice that in the moment. But yeah, like you definitely got to make the mistakes. Like even our boy Brandon, like running up the stage, we were looking at that film on the meta, like he slipped, and it's like, it's all good. Like 'cause stuff like that is going to happen. You know, I think it's better to make those mistakes and just to like get over the fear of them even happening, you know, like, all right, it's not that bad, you know?
Well, let's talk about like leaving the event because, you know, at the end of the night, once you're done, I think one of the most important things is to make sure you say thank you to your client. You know, like just make, you know, I mean, don't be the ghost that vanishes in the night. Like make sure you say bye to people.
No, I made it, I try to make it apparent like every time. You always want to leave on good terms, even if you know it's going to be the last time working with someone. You definitely, you know, shake their hand, look them in the eye, thank you for the opportunity. Looking forward to doing a great job for you. I'll get everything back to you as soon as possible. Like I definitely went and tried to do that with like I don't think I've ever just vanished in an opportunity like that.
If you want your client to love you, you tell them it's going to take you a week and then you get them all the stuff the next day.
Yeah, dude, whatever you do, be a good person and work hard, man. It's really simple in a way. But yeah, back to like the turnaround time. Say you do an event, say you do anything. People don't want to wait 2 weeks to see pictures from 2 weeks ago, man.
Because they're already on to the next thing.
Yeah, they're already on to the next party, bro. They don't care about this party anymore. They don't care about this game. They don't care about this performance anymore. People want that ASAP. And I understand it could get a little overwhelming with the volume of work, but you got to like prioritize yourself, dude. Like you got to work hard, bro. Like anything you do, like you might have a lot on your plate, but that's a gift, bro. Like what are you mad that you got a lot of work to do and something that you love doing? Like, bro, all right, what if God's like, I'll take the work away? Now you don't got no work to do. Are you going to be happier then? No way, bro. Like the goal is to eat, and then dudes be mad that they got a full plate of food, or they're just not built like that. They can't eat.
Yeah, and I think if you're not able to turn it around that quick either for whatever reason, just make sure you have good communication. Like follow up the next day. Just be like, great event last night, great whatever it was last night. Like,
be clear.
I'm working on this now. Like, you know, is there anything I should prioritize? But you really should just get it all done as quick as possible.
Oh, no, 100%.
It's better for you that way, too, because then it's off your plate. You don't want to think about it anymore.
No, seriously. Like, I think it's super important that if you tell someone you're going to have it back to them within 3 to 5 days, that you execute that. You don't want, and like we've all made mistakes. Like I've worked with people, like either whether friends or not, and like I told them like a week, and it ended up being a little bit longer. But I come back around and reiterate on my apologies, and I'm very sorry about it. And like if I could offer to do something a little bit, like I remember I was supposed to do a shoot for my buddy. He wanted me to go videotape his birthday party for him, and we were all locked in. This was like the first time I've ever had a situation like this. We were all locked in. It was actually the same weekend I was shooting lacrosse. The lacrosse event actually went a little bit longer than expected. I was far away from my house, totally drained after the whole day. Realized that I wasn't going to be able to make it up to his event in time. And like I had to like bail on him the same day. And he was really looking forward to it. And he's a really good dude. And that really bothered me, you know? But what I did was I let him know how bad I felt, and I'm sorry. And I gave him a free shoot. Gave him the free shoot same week coming up. It was I think his party was a Saturday. I gave him a free shoot, I think on like Wednesday for his birthday. And he loved it. You know, the pictures came out great. Didn't charge him $1. I was happy to do it, happy to give back. And like, you know, I corrected that wrong. You know what I'm
saying? Like, you know.
And I could have made money. Like I was getting paid good money to go do his party.
Oh, yeah.
And I ended up saying, you know, I can't make it and I'll just do some free work for you. And like in the business world, that's kind of crazy. But like being a good person, it is what it is.
And I don't think it's that crazy because you maintain the relationship. I do it every once in a while.
The relationship, I don't mean to cut you off. I really don't mean to cut you off.
I got the thought ready to go.
Yeah, the relationships are the most, like I put relationships before the bread always. And you know, that's just what it is.
Yeah, because you want to maintain it. And it's like there have been instances where like I may have taken either longer or, you know, it didn't come out exactly how we imagined, where I just was like, you know, like either just pay me less, dude. You know what I mean? It's like, I know we agreed on this rate, but like, you know, I took longer on it. So like, let's just, you know, sometimes I even like cut it in half, you know what I mean? Depending on how long it takes, you know what I mean? Cause it's like, you got to prioritize the relationship too. And like, you know, and that kind of goes to this next point I want to bring to is like being able to like, you know, be a critic to yourself, not like over the top, but just like being able to like see where you can improve. Like look at an event, like that went well, that was bad. You know what I mean? Let's like not shoot those photos because I don't know, all those photos that I shot over there came out terrible. So like, let's not shoot with that. You just learn from your mistakes is really the thing I'm trying to get to.
And one thing that we were just talking about is like, nobody likes a money hungry dude who's just trying to take your money. You know what I'm saying? If you're a good person and like you work hard, the money will naturally come. I can't stand where it's just like this dude's just trying to tax or like you know what I never understood with photographers is like they'll do a shoot, they get all these photos and they just give their client 10 photos. You know? Like I just like I don't want these pics. Like I like to overproduce. So like if I take 300 pictures, I'm gonna give you all 300 of them and I'm gonna ask you to pick your favorite ones and I'll edit those.
Yeah, and sometimes you don't know what your client is looking for too, because I've definitely been in instances where like, you know, people have taken photos of me and like they delivered ones where I'm like, but then they showed me some of the raw ones. I was like, yo, like these are the ones.
Exactly, dude.
You know?
And that's happened to me too. And like I've actually had a client tell me recently, the guy that I'm working for tomorrow, he's just like, you know, it could be overwhelming going through a big photo album of all these pictures and like,
which is true.
100%.
Yeah.
And kind of just like, you know, it's a waste of time because a lot of them are the same shot or like there's photos that they wouldn't even think about using. And he had some like, you know, he's a busy guy where he runs a pretty good business and a great business, excuse me. And I totally feel him on that. So like then it just, you know, you take their trust and pick out the best ones, you know? But like me, I like to over deliver. I don't want to feel like I'm getting off with less work for the money. I'd rather have them feel like, damn, I paid this price, but I got all of this, bro. Like, you know, it's giving feels better than taking. Like, no doubt about it. Everybody wants to be a go-getter, but nobody wants to be a go-giver. It's a great book, by the way. Everybody should read that book, Go-Giver. I don't know the author, but check it out. Fantastic.
Yeah. I think the final thought that I want to take away, well, there's two. Like, I think be yourself, you know what I mean, authentically, because that's how you're only going to be able to maintain being yourself. You know what I mean?
Bro. You're talking to someone that used to not be himself, and he got me into a boatload of trouble. Go watch the last podcast. Seriously. And I just take, like, dude, there's Eminem said it best in 8 Mile. Like, there's nothing you could tell me that I don't already know about myself. You know, like, I will agree with you on every point if it's true. You know, like, you might know this about me and know that about me. You might know some of my flaws. You might know, you know, things that I'm ashamed of or, like, I don't even feel really ashamed anymore because you know, it is what it is. Like, there's nothing to be ashamed of, really. I'm not scared to be embarrassed. So, like, yeah, bro, let's talk about it. You know, whatever you think is, you know, I'll sit there and agree with you, dude. You know, nobody's perfect. Everybody's got insecurities in certain ways, and you know, just being cool and understanding that we're all on the same boat here when it comes to life. No matter what you are, who you are, what you do, what you got, where you came from, like. Everybody struggles in certain ways, you know? So it's just back to being real and understanding as a human, dude. Like, I like helping people in that sense, bro.
Yeah.
Making people feel comfortable. And I'm not trying to go off topic.
No, you're good. You're good. Because I think that is, like, I mean, being yourself is literally the most important because, it, like, unless you're somebody who, like, is good at who you are, somebody who does everything the opposite of what we've been saying, dude, then you got to, like, revisit a little bit, dude. But the other thought.
And not everybody's going to like you. You could be like
true.
A great person. You could not do anything wrong and help people out and be this and be that.
It's almost inevitable that not everyone's going to like you.
If everybody likes you, there's a problem. That means you're because, like, there's people that, people. All right, how can I say this? I mean, someone who's not confident in themselves will see someone that is confident in themselves and just not. They're just like on the other side of that. So they'll just be like I don't know. Not everybody's going to like you. I don't know how to explain it, but you got to be all right with that. That's cool. Not everybody's meant to be in your life. I don't want everybody to like me. There's people that I don't like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I try to, like you said the other day, I don't hate anybody, you know? I don't hate anybody. If I feel that we aren't a good match, then like, I just distance myself. It's not like, F that person or F that person. I love everybody for who they are.
Some people just don't align with you.
No, they don't. The energy, like, you could try so hard to just make things right with someone or just like work on communication, but like energy speaks first. Actions speak louder than words. And if it's like, if you just find yourself in the same place energetically, then just, dude, it's not meant to be, bro. You know, like I would never force that. Like, why would you want to force that? There's no growth there. Like that's gonna hold you back, bro.
I got one final thought because I want to take us to the end zone here.
Yeah, good.
And it's just that, you know, kind of the overbearing of everything we say is that, you know, every single event, every single shoot, every single everything you do is an opportunity to grow your brand. And, you know, you should treat it like that too. So it's like you want to be the best person that you can be. You know, I've seen gigs where, you know, the photographer, videographer, it doesn't even have to be in photo or video specifically, but, you know, they've shown up and like they've left such a bad impression where the person's like, we're never going to bring that person back again. You know what I mean? I've seen it happen even over the weekend, dude. So, you know, it's just, you got to know how to hang and you got to leave a good impression and just know people hire you because they like you. Make sure your work is good. It's, you know, but even if your work isn't all the way good, people will work with you and grow with you. We said that, you know, I'm just kind of reiterating all our points.
But I think the only way people are going to work with you and grow with you is if they believe in you or like see you have a good character. You might not be the best at what you do yet, but like they like you and they're willing to help you.
And you got to give the people somebody to believe in, dude.
You got to believe in yourself, man. Because let me tell you, if you don't believe in yourself, it's going to be very rare for you to find people that believe in you. So that goes back into confidence, you know. And all right, so how do you build confidence? Work on good habits, you know. I think the gym has brought me a lot of mental confidence, and it's not for the external. It ain't for like muscles, this and that. It's just the fortitude and the resilience that you put in and out each day, and then you see yourself grow, and you see yourself getting stronger and stronger, and then like it just comes naturally. And it's not just the gym that's going to bring you confidence. Working hard and getting better at anything gives you confidence, and being a good person gives you confidence. Like understanding that, you know, you're here to help in every kind of way. It doesn't have to be just like on life, just like with a job. You're here to help and do a good job. And getting that feedback from people. When you're constantly getting good feedback from people, you start to believe it a little bit more yourself, you know, like, and I'm big. This is a thought that I kind of lost. There's always the next opportunity in the room that you're in now, you know? So going back onto doing a good job of where you're at or the job that you're in the moment shooting or whatever you're doing, your next opportunity, there's a good chance that there's someone there that'll be like, oh, like I need a photographer for this, or I got a video coming up. That dude was really cool. Like we laughed and we kicked it. He's like, yo, actually, matter of fact, I know someone that needs a photographer or a videographer. Oh, matter of fact, I do this. I'm lacking in content. Like I've had so many of these conversations pop up. Like I did all the time, dude. Always, there's one door opens another one every time, dude. Seriously.
Well, Phil, that takes us to the end of this concept episode that I'm trying today.
And this was totally improv, bro. We were just editing. I'm wearing a tank top. I did not expect to be on camera today, but Mike's my boy, and we're doing it. And like,
I wanted to try it and just see if the people are into it too. Good, you know, yeah. It's like I think I like the idea of like taking a topic and just kind of focusing on it for the day. You know what I mean? And just like really talking about that. But I also like talking about people's stories. But that's why, I don't know, I want to try this episode today, see what people think, get the feedback from it. If people like it, because then I can go into different topics. You know, I could bring guests on to specifically talk about like, you know, how to get into production. You know what I mean? How to place a song, you know, like all different things. So if people like these topic episodes, I'll continue them.
No,
if they don't,
give value. This is value. This is not me or Mike talking about ourselves. This is conversation that can help anybody, you know, in a line of work. And when you give value through content, that's what people want to watch, bro. You know, you can only put so much content out about what you're doing or who you are, or like pictures or videos or anything, if they're not adding value to people's life. If people are listening to content and they're able to extract the information, execute it into their own life, and see positive change or reinforcement, then that's value. You're helping people. That's what help is, you know? So like something like this, it is a good topic. It is a great topic. It's, you know, we're all trying to be more professional in a sense. And if we're all trying to help each other be professional and be good at what we do and understand how to act in situations, again, value.
Well, I'm looking at the comments, everybody. So if you liked it, let me know. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, the usual YouTube stuff. And thank you guys for joining Phil and I for this episode of Mike Squires and Friends.
Yo, shout out Mike Squires and Friends. This is my boy. Woo. For real. I appreciate every opportunity, even him bringing me on here, dude. So follow my boy on Instagram, YouTube, whatever he's got going on, Mike Squires.